From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your Evening Update.
Cascade Paint and Supply is Reading's oldest family-owned paint store, established in 1953. We are the largest Dunn Edwards dealer in the nation, and most of our products are made in the U.S. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff are ready to answer your questions and help you today.
So if you're new to Weather NorCal, first of all, welcome. Thank you so much for watching the most reliable and accurate source you have for Northern California weather. I've been forecasting weather in this area for over 25 years and hope to keep doing it for another 25. All right, maybe not that long, but I do want you to know that there are several different resources for you out there with Weather NorCal. You can watch from an app, you can watch from their website, you can watch from a free 24-hour streaming channel. I mean, here it is right here. If you have a Roku or Amazon Fire Stick, there's an app that you can get on those devices. It's free, and you can watch the 24-hour streaming channel. It's kind of like that of just live television, right? You can't fast forward, you can't go backward. It just is a kind of a stream here, and it has the latest weather update. It has some special programming on there. It's got kind of like the Weather Channel, where it's got 6 different neighborhoods in there that kind of show you in there. You've got this, what we call an L bar, with the latest conditions in there, 7-day forecast, current conditions, the works. So be sure to check it out. Search for Weather NorCal. You can also see that 24-hour streaming channel on the YouTube channel from your smart TV or from your laptop or your computer in general. And so there's all kinds of great resources. Be sure to check that out. All right, let's take a look at your headlines. The next heat wave, it's arrived. You noticed it yesterday. You'll notice it. You've probably noticed it again today, and you'll notice it for the days to come. In fact, this heat is sticking around for a while. We do expect the return of some mountain thunderstorms, and that's really going to be the main focus of this forecast today. We're going to talk in some great detail where we expect these thunderstorms to be, the timing of the thunderstorms, and how that's going to impact not only the park fire, but just our fire danger in general. And then, of course, the marine, the coast. You're not looking at thunderstorms or rain for that matter. You've just got that marine layer. It's persisting. It's not really moving much, so you're going to continue to see those overcast skies for quite some time. It's warming up. Tomorrow should even be a bit warmer here for the valley. We've got those temperatures over 100 degrees, and including Trinity County. Now you'll notice the thunderstorms and the lightning strikes for Modoc County, Eastern Mountains. We're going to go into more detail when you expect that to happen. Siskiyou County could see some of that activity, but Trinity County, most likely dry tomorrow, and not to mention, of course, the coast and the valley. But by tomorrow evening, maybe a bit of a different story for everyone, minus the coast, of course. All right, so there's the smoke here. So what we're going to start to see happen is, as the smoke will disperse a little bit here. It moves to the north and east, and really when you get the yellows, that's just basically haze. You may smell a faint smell of smoke, but nothing too terrible. The air quality won't be too bad, and you can see most dense smoke will be kind of over the fire, which isn't a lot. But then as the winds begin to pick up tomorrow afternoon, we'll probably see another plume of smoke develop here on the east side of the fire. That'll push eastward into the Chester area. I think you'll see some dense smoke there. But overall, just some light haze elsewhere for Friday afternoon. Now keep in mind that at this point, rain and thunderstorms are moving into the forecast, in particular this area here. So what we're seeing here with smoke could change dramatically based on if we see any rainfall, and not to mention that cloud cover as well. So this will kind of give you a basic idea. Let's take a look at the forecast winds now. And again, keep in mind, as we go into Friday afternoon, we'll probably see the winds pick up a little bit more, and especially over areas where thunderstorms develop. So as you can see, as we go into the noon hour, yes, not that bad. Coming in from east, a bit of a easterly wind. Winds coming in from the west, moving eastward. But overall, still that monsoon moisture not too much in place. But notice right here, we're seeing some very gusty winds. Now this is where I think we'll see some of the best potential for thunderstorms developing tomorrow afternoon. And I think that's where we see some of the strongest winds. But there's a bit of a disturbance, an area of low pressure that'll be moving overhead as well. A weak one, but strong enough that it's going to create some pretty strong winds. There you can see for the valley, we're seeing gusts easily over 20, 25 miles per hour. And that could impact also the park fire with some gusty winds. Okay, so that is going to be a time frame of concern as we go into Friday afternoon, Friday evening. And then you'll notice here, we're going to go into your Friday night into Saturday morning. The winds may stick around, and there's a reason for that, because the main disturbance is at this point pushing through. And with that disturbance, it's going to create some gusty winds at times, even in the overnight and early morning hours into Saturday. Now, as we go into Saturday, around the afternoon, once again, some strong gusty winds for the valley, not to mention in the eastern mountains. Not so bad, though, off to the north and west. And we'll get into that a little bit later with the rainfall. But there you can see here, humidity levels, very dry, again, even for Friday. Now, even though the monsoon moisture is working its way in, most of that monsoon moisture will be the east of the valley. So we're not going to see really the humidity really pick up until Friday night and into Saturday. Now we're getting into the teens with that relative humidity and even higher humidity levels for many of the higher elevations. So we look at the fire weather risk. Now, keep in mind, the fire weather risk only takes into account temperature, wind, and humidity. It's not taking into account the fact that we could see dry lightning strikes. So let's take a look at the fire weather risk based on those three factors I told you about. Highest fire danger will be in the valley, central Siskiyou County, and to the north and east. That's tomorrow afternoon. Now we take you into Saturday, same situation, mainly for the valley though. The fire danger may not be as high as we go into Saturday. And again, that's not taking into account this right here. For Friday, this is where we have the best chance for dry lightning strikes. As we go into Saturday, this is also, you can see how it shifts westward, but we got to talk more about the timing of when we expect showers and thunderstorms. Because, you know, as you go through the day on Friday, no thunderstorms here, basically from here westward. But by tomorrow night into Saturday morning, those chances are there. So let's take a look at the severe outlook. And essentially, the Storm Prediction Center, the areas in light green, that's mostly what we usually see around here. And that's just saying, hey, this is the best chance where we got those thunderstorms for tomorrow afternoon. And then you can see, as we go into Saturday, it kind of stretches westward. But once again, this looks pretty intimidating, doesn't it? I don't think we're going to see a widespread area of thunderstorms across Northern California throughout the day on Saturday. It's mainly going to be Saturday morning and really even Friday night. So, all right, let's take a look at all that. Let's put this all into timing. A couple of things I want you to point out here. Number one, I put the winds in here, which I typically don't have. I've also got the fire perimeter for the park fire to kind of give you a basic idea of where everything is in comparison to the fire, okay? So, here we are at noon tomorrow. We're beginning to see the first phases of that monsoon moisture moving in. Keep in mind, the monsoon moisture is to our south right now over Southern California. It's working its way here. It's packed its bags, it's coming on up here, and should be here, at least in the southeast, by noon tomorrow. Now, let's take you into the early afternoon and the mid-afternoon hours. Here's 5 p.m. Friday. This is where we're seeing most of that monsoon moisture. Now remember, we saw very dry conditions in the valley. That's because most of the monsoon moisture isn't here yet by the time we get into Friday p.m., all right? So we're still seeing mainly thunderstorms for places like Susanville, Portola, and even northward in the Alturas. I think we can see some of that activity. But notice, we're not seeing much activity to the west of that. Now, this is also a disturbance of an area of low pressure, if you will. That destabilizes the atmosphere. And part of that destabilization is winds, unfortunately. So the winds are going to be picking up Friday afternoon, Friday evening, probably stronger than we've seen for the last few afternoons. Check this out. We're going to kind of break this down here and talk about this for a second. As we go into Friday night at 10 p.m., here's the rain. Now, looking at this from this standpoint, this actually looks pretty good, doesn't it? You've got that rain. This could help with the firefighting efforts. We get some wet weather on there. A couple of things to take into account. Number one, yes, there is some moisture associated with this, but it's very dry at the surface. So we've got to saturate that atmosphere first. And number two, this is a disturbance, an area of low pressure for all intents and purposes. Again, the winds will probably be pretty gusty with this. Hopefully we can get enough of that rain to really help things out. But as we go into Friday night, Saturday morning around midnight, you see this line right here? This is showing there may be just enough instability for even a few lightning strikes and a few thunderstorms for parts of the valley. So I think we could see some rain for parts of the valley here as we go into Friday night, early Saturday morning. And again, you'll see there is a little bit of rain. Now notice the winds aren't terribly strong, but once again, as we start seeing these thunderstorms developing, we could be looking at some erratic winds already at this point for Friday night and Saturday morning. So as we go into Saturday at 5 a.m., now we're seeing the bulk of the activity to the west. Now this could help in the firefighting efforts for the Shelley fire in western Siskiyou County, right? However, when you've got thunderstorms like this and a system like this, it could be looking at some gusty winds too. Now, this is where the bulk of the monsoon moisture is moving through, and this is where the main activity is. So the area of low pressure itself, the disturbance, is kind of moving to the north and west. Watch what happens as I advance this. See what's happening? You're getting that counterclockwise rotation a bit. So what's happening is that low is moving here, and then it's kind of doing this. Okay, and then it's going to start moving to the north and east through Saturday afternoon. Now that's significant because this all here again is the monsoon moisture that's being transported northward. This area of low pressure, this disturbance, is also helping to bring that up as well. But this is the moisture that if we get enough clearing in some of these areas, you're going to see afternoon what we call convection, thunderstorms developing. And there they are. Siskiyou County, Modoc County, Lassen County, eastern Shasta County, eastern Tehama County could all be looking at that. So these thunderstorms are developing. The problem is if we get a thunderstorm that develops over the fire itself, the park fire, you've got gusty erratic winds. That can create problems for the fire. It gives it more oxygen. It'll feed the fire, and we'll see some flare-ups as a possibility. But here's the thing. Notice what happens as we go into Saturday afternoon. We're seeing this kind of progression to the north and east. So I think by the time we get into the mid to late afternoon hours, most of the showers and thunderstorms will be to the north and east of the park fire. There still may be a little bit of activity here off into western Siskiyou County, but we're really pointing it out here. Then by Saturday night, that all pushes to the north and east and it's gone. And by Sunday, it's dry and we're back to the hot and dry conditions again. And that monsoon moisture moves on out. Okay, so that's kind of the detailed look and the timing of all that. Bottom line is this. During the time frame of Friday afternoon through Saturday afternoon, even into Saturday evening, we've got the potential for thunderstorms for several parts of Northern California. That's going to have an impact at some point in time on all of the fires in the area. And the erratic winds from thunderstorms are the biggest concern. The second biggest concern will be the potential for dry lightning outside of where the heavy rainfall is. That could spark new fires. But one of the good things, a couple of the good things coming out of those thunderstorms is heavy rainfall in some areas and higher humidity. But the payoff is, well, unfortunately, the fact that we got those gusty winds and that can create problems. All right, let's switch gears, talk about the heat, because yes, that area of high pressure is building in. We've started to see that heat move in yesterday, today, and will be the case here as we go through the weekend as well, and even into next week. In fact, this area of high pressure, it doesn't really move a whole lot. It just kind of lingers off to our south and east, and that's what's going to keep our temperatures pretty much status quo, between 100 and 105 degrees on average for the valley, and mainly in the 90s for the higher elevations through next week. Your typical summer heat is coming back and it's not going anywhere. There's your average high for Redding, about 100 degrees. We're going to be slightly above that here through, it looks like, the rest of this week into the weekend, and we'll be kind of hovering around normal by the time we get into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. All right, that's kind of the situation there. Let's take a look at those wave heights, and what we're looking at here, unfortunately, not much change there, right? And then as we go into your Saturday, well, it looks like those wave heights may be increasing a little bit here. Quick look at your marine forecast. Southwest winds at about 5 knots. And of course, you can see your high and low tide there. But overall, it looks like we're going to see that patchy, dense fog being the main concern. So here's your forecast for tonight. Upper 60s for the valley. Temperatures in the 50s, even some 60s for the higher elevation. Still pretty mild temperatures overnight. Here's your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. 100 degrees or higher in most locations. Some of the cooler spots like Mad River and 87 and Ruth about 94. I'm going to take you back to that again. I want to talk about that again real quickly here. Let's take a look at that 7-day forecast. Now, I don't have anything for you on Friday for Trinity County. It's Friday night, Saturday morning. You've got that best potential. By Saturday afternoon, I think most of it will be off to your east, and then by Sunday, it's dry. I don't have any showers or thunderstorms for the north coast. The coast, you're looking at mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures mid-60s, give or take. For the inland areas, I think there is a slight chance that late Friday night, early Saturday morning, extreme eastern Del Norte and Humboldt counties, so places like, I don't know, Orleans, Hoopa, Willow Creek, you may, just for a brief period of time, Friday night, Saturday morning, see some of that activity. But really, as you head east of that, that's where most of the activity will be. Siskiyou County, here's your neighborhood forecast. For tomorrow, I've got a chance for showers and thunderstorms for you, especially central and eastern. But by Saturday, the chances will be better. And for Modoc County, all bets are off there. You're looking at Friday and Saturday. I think you've got a very good chance of seeing lightning strikes both afternoons and even into the evening hours. Taking a look at your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast, same situation. As you head even into Shingletown, not out of the question for a thunderstorm. Eastward all the way into eastern Lassen County. That's the case for Susanville for both Friday and Saturday. Now your Valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by NorCal Tractor. I don't have any raindrops falling from those clouds because the timing of that is basically Friday night, Saturday morning. Otherwise, it should be dry. And then as we take you to the north, same situation with that Friday night, Saturday morning, maybe even a stray thunderstorm. Otherwise, you've got temperatures on the hot side as we go into your Friday. Let's take a look at that 7-day outlook for Redding. Temperatures 100 degrees or higher all the way through the end of next week. And of course, those overnight lows upper 60s to low 70s.
At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too. Because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.